Welcome back to the farmstead. My name's Teresa. Grandkids call me Nana. Nieces and nephews call me Aunt Ree. I'm glad you're here today. We are in week 3 of our pantry challenge, and it's going pretty well. This week's been a little bit different. I have kind of not been moving around too much. I have an old back injury that kind of flared up, so Papa's been doing most of the cooking, but he's been doing a great job. We've had breakfast for dinner. We've had some enchiladas out of the freezer. And he's done some pantry things too, whatever he could find in the pantry. So that's what we have it for. But today we are doing potluck from the pantry. Now, this is something I've been wanting to do, to look in my pantry and pick all the things I would need to take in case I were going to a potluck or a gathering or somewhere where I needed to take food, where you're usually expected to bring food for you and your family and maybe a little bit to share with others. It's all put out on a big table and everybody enjoys what everyone has brought. Now, typically for these, you bring a salad, a main course, and a dessert, along with sometimes I'll take like some of my pickles or my pickled okra, sometimes rolls and things like that. But today we're going to focus on 3 things. We're going to make a macaroni salad with some bow tie pasta. We're going to make chicken, rice, broccoli, cheesy casserole thing is the main dish. And we're going to make a pineapple cake for dessert. So I've got the oven preheated to 350. I've got 2 pots of water coming to a boil, one for the noodles and one for the rice. And I think first we'll get started on our cake since the oven's ready for it. So I'm going to move these things out of the way a little bit and get things together for the cake. Okay, for today's cake, we are making a pineapple cake. Now, I keep several kinds of cake in the pantry, and this is one that I've had there for a little bit. I need to use it up. Now, I don't have any cherry, so we're not going to make pineapple upside down cake, but I do have a can of crushed pineapple, and we're going to substitute our water. We're going to use the crushed pineapple instead. Put this in my bowl, and then we're going to top it with just a plain vanilla icing. So we'll set that over here for later. And we're going to make it according to the mix and use the 3 eggs. 1, 2, 3. And we need a cup of oil. Oh, need my measuring cup. Got it. All right, so cup of water, 1/3 cup. All right, so there's our third. Okay. All right, put that out of the way. And here we have our crushed pineapple. And this is an 8-ounce can, which 8 ounces is a cup. And we will see if this gives us enough moisture in it, or if we need to add a little water. So we're going to give it a try. All right, so let's mix this up. It's a little bit thick, but I don't think it's too thick, so I'm not going to add any water. All right. Oh, it smells wonderful. Set that over there. Take our spatula. All the way down the bottom. If you've been here any length of time, you know how I love a bundt pan. So I've got this sprayed real good. I'm just going to pour it in. Now this is a good mix if you want to make a pina colada cake. You could add coconut, maybe a little rum, those kinds of fun things. Today we're just doing pineapple cake with a little bit of vanilla drizzle. All right, there we go. Nice. All right, we're going to put this in the oven. I'll set a timer for 25 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and add my rice and my noodles to their pots of water that are boiling. So let's get that going. I'm going to use about half a bag of these noodles. I don't want a huge salad, but I want a little bit. So half a bag of these noodles. The other half, I'll find a jar to store them in. All right, now this is a boiling bag basmati. Now, I've never had basmati rice. Didn't know if I would like it. And so I thought, well, I'll get these 4 little bags, boil in the bag, and give it a try. And we really do like it. So next time I'll buy a bigger one. Now, there are 3 things in my cooking career that I have not mastered. And one of them is cooking long grain rice in a pot on the top of the stove. Don't know. Can't do it. The other is a pie crust. Now, my nanny was a master at pie crust. I haven't got that down yet either. And boiled eggs. I cannot boil eggs to where they're just right and will peel without a problem. Now, I've seen some other folks on social media with a little trick where you tap the egg on the top before you boil them. I'm going to try that sometime, see how that works. But into the water this goes for 10 minutes. All right, so while those are going, let's get our Velveeta melting. We're going to use a half of this big block. I thought I had a smaller block, but I didn't see it. So we're going to use the half of this one, and then we'll find something to use the other half for. I'll package this up and stick it in the fridge so it'll be good to make something with. Right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it into chunks. We're going to melt it, and then we're going to mix everything else in this bowl. I'm just cutting this in pretty good chunks. I'm going to melt this in the microwave. I'm going to start with 45 seconds, stir it, and do 30-second intervals until it's pretty well melted. And it's going to finish melting while it sits here, and then while we when we bake it in the oven, it'll finish melting. But we want to get it mostly melted so we don't have a big pocket of cheese. Need a rag. And I'm going to put half a cup, more or less, because I've also got some cream of chicken soup that we're going to mix with this, and usually put a little milk in that. And we want this to be a little creamy. So I'm going to hold this out because we may find once we get it all mixed up that we need something a little creamier. So let's get this melted. Okay, let's let this sit and melt a little more while we're getting our noodles drained and our rice out of the water. All right. Oh yeah, nice and creamy. All right, so our bow ties are draining and cooling in the sink. Remember, we don't want them hot because we're not making a hot mac and cheese. We're making a cool salad. So we've got those draining and the rice is sitting to the side and it's ready. So let's get the rest of that mixed up. We're going to use this bowl to mix all of that in. So this is some broccoli that was in the freezer. Remember, we're using things from the pantry and the freezer, things that we already had on hand. So we're going to get this and we'll get a big knife. I'm going to chop up our broccoli. This was some from the freezer I'd gotten from a local farmer's market. Okay. Put in our bowl. You know what I think I'm going to do is mix in my mushroom soup before I put it all in there. I think it'll be easier to mix in if I do that. The other spatula. Come here. I was just excited about the broccoli. All right. Now let's get this mixed up. It's going to be pretty thick. Let's get everything mixed up, and if we need to, we can add a little milk. Because we want it to be thick, but we don't want it to be the blob. Because the rice is going to absorb some moisture in the oven. Although it's fully cooked, it's still going to absorb some. That's just the nature of rice. And when I got these home from the farmer's market, I washed them and cut them into florets. And bagged them up in individual little bags to put them in the freezer. And I had about 6 of these little bags from a good handful of broccoli I got from them that day. And it's been very good. We've roasted several packages of it. All right, so there's the broccoli. All right, put this in the sink, and we are going to drain our chicken. You don't have to drain your chicken. It's very good. Just chicken broth that's in there. But I did. So we're going to break it up a little bit as we get it out. It's so handy to have chicken already cooked like this. If you're not keeping pressure can chicken in your pantry, you are missing out. It's so easy to do. And we're going to do a video on it here soon because I am just about out. I'll show you just how easy it is. And it's so handy to have just like this. You're not having to get it out of the freezer and thaw it and cook it and then wait for it to cool and then chunk it up. You open the jar and you're ready to go. I wish I'd cooked meat years ago. All right, so now we just need our rice. We are going to need to add a little milk. Oop, scoot over. All right, let's get our rice. I've got it in a bowl so it could finish draining the water. Need our scissors. Pour it in. All right. There's a little baking pan we're going to put it in. It's that one that's a little bit smaller than a 9x13 that I like so much. You know what? I think I'm going to get a spatula. If I can buy one. Yeah. Maybe I can't. They've all disappeared. Oh well. A little milk. Now you could add some salt and pepper to this if you wanted. You could add some of that all nature seasoning, kind of all seasoning, all blend of seasoning stuff that I like, or whatever you like in there. I tend to not put anything at this point because this cheese is a little salty, and it seems to be enough for me. Now Papa likes a lot of pepper. So I could put some pepper in here, but then he would add pepper to it and end up with a whole bunch of pepper. So we're not going to do that. We'll just let him season it as he goes. But if you want to, you do that. You can see how thick this is. And I think this is a pretty good consistency. That's a hard word today. The rice has got enough moisture there to soak up while it bakes, and it'll soak up a little, but not too much because it's already cooked. But you want it to have a little bit, or your end dish will end up a little too dry. All right, so let's get this in our bowl. It should fit. Look at there. Now, when I get ready to bake this, I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes until it's nice and bubbly. And then it is ready to eat, ready to take. You could also do this in a crock pot on low setting, cook it for about 4 hours, and then take it to wherever you're going. And if you've got somewhere to plug it up, put it on your keep warm setting, and it'll stay warm for a little while. So there we have it. All right, on to the pasta salad. First to the sink. All right, we've got our bow ties in a bowl. They've been cooled and drained, or drained and cooled, whichever. We're waiting on the timer to go off for the cake. It's got about 2 minutes, so we're going to listen for it. We'll get that cake out as soon as it's ready. But in the meantime, we're going to start mixing this up. Now, I have opened a can of black olives and a can of whole kernel corn. I have drained and rinsed both of those, and I'm going to add those in. Stir them up pretty good. And these are just flavors that we like. If you don't like them, do something else. Add things that you like. If it were in season, I would add fresh bell peppers. I would add tomatoes. Tomatoes are good. I'm adding some of this four blend cheese, Fiesta blend cheese. I'm going to add a few bacon bits. This is a big bag that I get from Sam's. I'm going to add about a half a cup of those. There's those. And green bell peppers would be really pretty in here. Or some green olives, but I didn't have any green olives. So, using what we have out of the pantry, that's what we're doing. I am going to put some of this tagine. Tagine, it's a spice. It's what you put on street corn. It's wonderful. So I'm going to add just a sprinkle or two of this, or 3 or 4. Not too much. Stir that up, and we're adding our Duke's mayonnaise. We love Duke's. It's funny how mayonnaise has different mayonnaises have a different following around the country, but Duke's we really like. It's very tangy, very fresh tasting to me. So that's why I like it. Get back in that bowl. I think that goes. So we're going to mix this up, and then this will just sit in the refrigerator until we're ready to take it. I'm not going to put too much, because if you put too much, it gets watery. Watery, I don't want. Now you could transfer this to another bowl. I'm not. I'm going to leave this in here. That's our timer for the cake. Let's go get it. Not quite ready. I'm going to give it about 5 more minutes. It's still really jiggly. Let's finish our pasta salad. As I was saying, you could put this in another bowl, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it in this one. We'll serve it right out of here. Now what you can do, it's got all your mixings on it. I'm going to make a little mound in the middle. Okay. Through with this spoon, going to the sink. I'm going to get some paper towel. Take a paper towel. I'm going to wipe the rim right here. Wipe here at the top. That makes it nice and clean. And only you will know that you mixed in this bowl. All right, this is ready to go in the refrigerator until we're ready to serve it. That looks perfect. All right, shut the door. Our toothpicks. Clean as a whistle. Yep, we're good. All right, we're going to let it cool for just a few minutes. We'll turn it out on our plate. We'll let it cool some more. We'll come in, drizzle some vanilla frosting on it, and then take a look at all the things we've got ready to go. Be back in a bit. Our pineapple cake has been sitting and is completely cooled. I have this small container of just plain vanilla icing that I have melted in the microwave for just a few seconds until it's kind of a drizzling consistency. So we're going to take this and do just that. Drizzle back and forth. I don't want to cover the whole cake. I want to just kind of give it a little bit of a topping and a little bit of pretty. Let's go around once and see what we get. Yeah, let's go around one more time. And if you have a cake carrier with the big dome lid on it, that would be perfect to take it in. We're going to have this here, so I can put this in my little cake dome that sits on the counter. And it'll stay fresh and moist for 2, 3, 4 days even. It's not going to last that long around here, I can tell you that. All right, so there we go. Put that back in the fridge to use at a different time. I found some twinkle sprinkles left over from the holidays. So we're just going to add a few of those just to add some pretty to it. All right, there we go. Pineapple cake ready to go. All right, let's take a look at all the things we've got ready. So whether you're off to a potluck or a gathering or having dinner with friends, or you're just staying home for a simple weeknight dinner, things you have in your pantry all put together will be a great meal for any family. Thanks for watching. See you next week.